Chapter 64. Horidel's vision, the inner guiding voice in man. As soon as Abbedam had called him, Horidel stepped forward and, like a courageous lion, began to speak. However, his courage was without presumption whatsoever, but was only instilled by his love for me. Just as a mother's love fills her breast with courage so that she would even run into the fire should her child's life be endangered. The only difference being that such courage on the part of the mother would be a courage of grief, pain, fear, and panic. With Horidel, this was not the case, since his courage stemmed only from his innermost joy and was, therefore, comparable to the courage of a general, dizzy with the joy of conquest. Enlivened by such love-joy courage, Horidel began to speak as follows. O you most holy, most loving Father! You have graciously called also me, a poor sinner, that I may proclaim here all I have seen and perceived. However, I am well aware that everything I have seen and perceived comes solely from you. Should I tell you and inform you about that which countless eternities ago was incomprehensibly clearer to you than the sun in the middle of the brightest day? No. In other words, this would only mean either pouring a drop of water into the sea so as to enlarge the same, or on the brightest day, light a torch of pitch or wax in order to augment the light of the sun. Therefore, to tell about my vision solely for your sake would be, at least as far as I can see, the biggest nonsense ever committed by a human, unburdening his heart before you, as if you did not know what was hidden in the same. For, standing before you, as I am now, only one thing is required in the spirit and in all truth, namely, to beat one's breast, saying, O you, my great God, you, my holy, most loving Father, have grace and mercy upon me, a poor sinner. For all sin, all the blemishes and faults of my heart are revealed before you, like the brightest day. You know my thoughts, and all my desires are counted before you. But I also know this. You want everyone to become eloquent before you, just as if you knew nothing in all earnest of all that is, or has been, going on in someone's heart, making him talk before you as a true child before the alone true, holy, most loving Father. So also I will reveal in all the love and joy of my heart the prophetic and surely wondrous vision as well as what I perceived in this vision. And so I ask you all to lend me a willing ear. At first I felt something like hard knocks at my breast. If I am not mistaken, there were about 7 of them. These knocks did not hurt me, but nevertheless I was shaken through each of them to the innermost core of my life. Wherefore I became full of fear, not knowing what these knocks were leading up to. However, when with the last knock fear overwhelmed me so that all my outer senses failed me, it became more and more lively in my heart. At first it seemed to me that countless stars were flashing around in confusion, like lightning without thunder. This became faster and more violent, so much so that in the end my whole heart passed into the lightning like flashing matter, just as if one could force a lightning to last and not go out in the flick of a moment. Then this light began to dilate my heart, so much so that it began to expand its limits beyond all the visible heavens. As it kept expanding its limits unceasingly, gradually this vast astral coil of lightning and light began to dissolve into single flashes of lightning and, finally, into individual fixed stars, each of which shone brighter by far than the morning star in the brightest light of a serene morning in spring. When all had quietened down, and I could no longer perceive whether my heart continued to expand, stood still, or contracted again, I finally found myself. And as I found myself as a complete man, and thought, asking myself, where am I now? And behold, forthwith, 3 of the most glorious stars flashed down from the vast heaven of my heart, which formerly had thus expanded. And these 3 stars were 3 perfect round spheres which, like the sun, had an excessively strong light. Then I asked myself again, what does this mean? Where am I? And what am I? Before I could finish thinking thus, suddenly each of these 3 spheres expanded tremendously, retreating into an immeasurable depth, so that in the end I saw nothing but these 3 infinitely great spheres before me. And the one in the middle opened and, absorbing the outer 2, approached me. But close to it I perceived a great thunder, which sounded like clearly audible words, as follows: You are now within yourself in the Spirit. All that you perceive is within you, and there is nothing outside of you. But this means that in the future you shall explore the signs of the inner man, not caring for the outer filth of the things of the world. For what in the outer world appears as dead, all that you carry within you alive in countless numbers. Therefore, strive after the inner life. There you will find revealed all that ever touched you, or most often failed to touch you, outwardly. Behold, this is the inner world of God, the Eternal, Holy Father. In this you can, shall, and will live forever. Amen. After these words, the great luminous sphere again became rather small, and soon disappeared with all the other things. And I found myself again here on the earth. And of the whole vision nothing remained for me but a vivid recollection. O dear, Holy Father, accept this surely very incomplete report graciously and, as I have already said at the beginning, be merciful to me, a poor sinner. For surely I am no pure Sihel, but a most impure Horidel. O Father, your holy will be done. Amen.